All right, I'm down here at Scotiabank Arena. We just finished talking to Craig Berube and the players. We got William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, and Chris Tanev post games. The guys we wanted to hear from post game. None of them had any excuses. All of them took blame for the loss tonight. Said it was inexcusable. Didn't blame the crowd for booing. Austin said he thought we didn't give the crowd anything to cheer about, so he doesn't blame them for leaving early and booing. So all of that was good to hear. Berube took a lot of blame as well and put it on himself and said the team wasn't good enough and he was disappointed and all that stuff that you've probably heard before out of the Leafs. But coming to you right after the game in Game 5 after a 6-1 loss, it's because it feels like the end of a lot in Toronto because of how devastating the loss was, but how familiar the loss was. So we want to do this extra little vid post-game because I have 4 questions regarding the game, and I want you to answer them, and I'm going to try and answer them the best. But I want to ask these questions because I don't really have the best answers myself so fresh off of the loss. The first one being the one that's probably the one that's going to get the most reaction and the most hate is, am I a fool or is anybody a fool for believing that the Leafs could win Game 6 and 7? Is what we saw in Game 5 enough that you're completely out on the possibility of the Leafs winning Game 6 and 7? Because they did have 82 games this year where they did play really good hockey. They did have a series against Ottawa where they looked like they were doing great stuff all series long, except for one game there in that series. They did look phenomenal in games 1 and 2 against Florida, and then they had a really shaky little OT and second half of game number 3 where they really could have put the series to bed, and then they had the 4 and the 5 that we all know. So are we fools for believing that they could still win 6 and 7 and turn the story on this whole thing? Second question, Mitch Marner. He's got to be a huge question coming out of tonight because of the game that he's had this game and last game and his entire tenure as a Toronto Maple Leaf where he hasn't performed in big games. Is there a number in and around Mikko Rantanen's number that you would be happy to bring back Mitch Marner at, even if it's 11.5, you know? Is everybody completely out on this player based on the postseason performances that we have from Mitch? Personally, I'm on the side of try something new no matter how. Well, if they end up winning the cup, you know, then who cares? But right now, as we sit Game 5, I don't know how you don't say try something new no matter what the price is, even if it's a discounted, and I'm doing air quotes right now, on Mitch Marner. Question number 3, Austin Matthews. Is he not the player we think he is based on his postseason performance, or is he simply injured? Is Austin Matthews injured, I think, is question number 3. We've seen his shot completely tail off, and it looks like he could be dealing with something in his wrist. And that's probably not a good excuse, but if he's injured, we got to look at it a little differently. And if he's not injured, do we have to rethink who Austin Matthews is? And question number 4, will Steve Dangle ever be okay? Steve lost his mind on stream today as the Florida Panthers racked up 6 goals, and I'm sure you tuned into that if you're watching this, and if you haven't, go watch the live replay. Will Steve ever be okay, I think, is the final question coming out of today's game. So let me know in the YouTube comments if you're listening there right now. Hit subscribe on the channel, hit like on this video, and you can also listen to this on any audio platform. But let me know about those 4 questions. Do you have answers? Because I'm at a loss for words right now. I didn't expect them to have this type of performance. I thought this Leafs team was over these types of performances. I thought they'd shown enough that they knew how to be competitive in games at least, you know, and not have true stinkers. Paul Maurice did the most Paul Maurice thing post-game. I was kind of ending the video, but I have some more thoughts because I just remember that Paul Maurice did this to us in the post-game media scrum in the media room there, where he gave Leafs fans a little bit of hope in his post-game press conference, where he said that last year in the Cup final, they lost a game 8-1, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. So he was saying how momentum's not a thing. You win the game, and then you come back next game and it's a new game, and momentum doesn't carry over, and his team doesn't look at it that way, where there's momentum going from this game to the next game. So if you're a Leafs fan, Paul Maurice doesn't believe that this 6-1 loss carries over to the next game. So maybe the Leafs shouldn't either. I don't know if that's the worst thing ever you can hear from the opposing coach, or a little bit of hope, but Paul Maurice is definitely just playing mind games with Leafs fans and the Leafs media there. But yeah, that's it for me right now. If you want more of these post-game videos, I think we're going to roll some more out if the Leafs continue to play hockey here at Scotiabank Arena. That's it for me tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but shows be listening or watching right now, and I appreciate you for that. Good night from Toronto.